Alright guys, so basically, before I get into the video, I just want to let you know that I made a separate compilation and I've uploaded the separate compilation on my second channel just for copyright reasons. I didn't want to get a copyright strike on my main channel, so I have a backup channel and I've uploaded it there, so I'll post a link for you to go and check it out if you're interested. Hope you enjoy, and yeah, check out the video.
Yo, what's up? So basically this is a threading tutorial as requested by a subscriber or someone that commented on my videos. There's not much I can say about threading that hasn't already been said by other people. I can refer you to other videos and other dances to check out for threading, like Wave-O-Matic, Skywalker, B-Boy Rubber Legs, also David Elsewhere and Philip Chabib. Threading, I'm pretty sure, I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it originates from b-boying first. So it was first used in, like, some people would say breakdancing, but I'm gonna call it b-boying. And yeah, since then it's been like integrated into styles like waving and popping. So I've got written down a few different basic ways you can thread. So there's all different ways you can thread. The most common is your arm threads, right? So a thread, what it actually is, it's just forming a loop on anywhere of your body and then threading through it, okay? Like a needle through, or a thread through a needle, I should say. So that's where it gets named threading, like thread through needle. On the needle there's a little loop. Basically, the most common forms of threading look like this. So you connect a point on your body and you just thread through it like that. Or you can do it up here and you can keep threading through. So these are basic, what I call arm threads. Like so. Or I should say arm loops, because I want you to understand the difference between arms and hands when it comes to threading, okay? So arms would be like, what I call a one arm loop is like this. So you can form it anywhere on your body, up the top here, down here, like so. Okay? And even up here, you can start to thread with your head, okay? But head threading, I'd say head threads are a little different. They're their own little style of threading, okay? So, arm threads, basic climbing, what they call climbing up through the thread, right? And you come down, back through the arm loops, okay? And then with each of those threads, you can continue to wave with them. So you can wave into a point and then thread basically through it. Now, the basic with arm threads, right, is you need to know when you have a point like this, or, sorry, when you have a point like this, right, you can thread around the arm like this too, which gets you into this position like that. But also you can thread, you can almost go backwards, like reverse that, okay? So you can reverse, okay? You can reverse it like that and go 1, 2, 3. And that's like a reversed version of going like this, okay? Now, what you can do from there too is this, okay? So your arm from this position here can turn, like it could turn upright like that. So you can thread with your arm up or down, okay? So down you can kind of go through like this and then around the head into the waving, okay? Or what you can do is you can go like this, for example. 1. Now imagine you're doing that reverse thing, so you're coming up like this, 1, and now you can turn it and go back around, okay? So it looks like this. 1, 2, 3, And you see, just by like turning that upside down, gives you another thread you can do. So now that you've learnt that, another way you can thread is like this. So you typically, imagine just come down like this, right? 1, 2. Okay. So you've come through the thread, right? And what you can do is you can kind of go like this and kind of connect that point again to make another thread. Okay? Like that. So you're just basically threading through, and then you're going to connect that, and you've made a little thread like that. So that's the basics with arm threads. Now there's another way you can actually arm thread too, which is instead of 1 arm loop, I call it the 2 arm loop. So now you have the 2 arm loop is like this. It's just a basic circle. So it's 1 loop formed by two arms. Okay, and this is obviously you can step through like that. If you're like in this position here, you can like thread like this, like so. But also, you may get to a position like that where you step through again, okay, and now you're stuck behind your back like this. Okay, so you're like, okay, I'm stuck behind my back. What can I do? I'm stuck. Well, you're not stuck, you just come down lower like this, okay? So come down lower, you get a little bit more space, and then you can step through like that, okay? And you see, now you're back at the start without disconnecting your hands. Now that's important to know, is when you get stuck around your back like this, you can step through, right? Like that. But also, this is a loop, so you can thread through it like that too. So you can actually like go through that loop. Next is how to connect the threads with your legs. So basically, same thing, is you're going to connect the point, and then you're just going to step through the point. So you connect it down lower, step through. And this is where you can just keep adding a connection, and you can keep stepping through the points, right? So if you connected it down here, like this, say you're waving down here, right? And then you got to this back leg. Now you can step through the leg, okay? And then you can just like thread with your arms, like that. That make sense? Alright, some other ways you can thread with your legs are like on the ground. So if you were to like come to your position like this, like you're doing your waving or something, then you could grab your foot, like connect with your foot here, which forms a loop with your leg, like that. So you notice here you've already got 1 loop, which is like a square shape here, and then you can form a second one here. And if you were flexible enough, you could possibly like raise that leg up and try to bring that over your head somehow, if you're flexible enough. So from here, what you can do is you can just put this front leg behind it and through like that. Okay, so you've already threaded like that, and now what you do is you just grab that same foot with the other hand and turn, come up like that. Alright, so I'll show you the other side, like this. Grab this foot, form your loop, use your other leg and put it through. Grab with the other hand, turn and come up like that. So that's another way you can do it. Also, you can use your knees as well. So if you're in a thread like this, you can thread with your arm down and grab your leg and come up like that. Alright? So that forms a thread like this. Then you can turn this leg, thread that through like this. Like this. Then you could come around. So another thing is when you're in this position here, you've got a thread between your legs here. You can do as well, like that. Okay, and you can grab. Another thing you can do is from here, bring it up, but instead of coming all the way up, you're going to come like halfway up, like this, and now you let go with this hand, and you've already connected. And then you can turn it like that, right? So now you can thread like this. And you see how it's just a little bit different? That's pretty much the basics with the leg thread, besides if you were sitting down on the ground, like this, then you could thread underneath the leg like that, okay? And then what you can do is you can grab this foot and then thread through like that too, right? Even from like a breakdancing thing, like if you were in like an air chair pose, then you could do like some b-boy threading and stuff as well, which I'm not even going to attempt to do that. Some other ways you can thread would be what I call hand loops. So it's not a full thread, it's almost like a half circle. That'd be your full circle, and that's your half circle. So you can thread through your hands like that. So threading through, and your hands can turn any direction to change the way you thread. So you thread down, and you can keep doing it like that, right? Turn the hand over, maybe this way, and what you can do with the hand threads is your elbow too. So you can come elbow first instead of your hand first. Alright, and you can mix that up with like your typical threads like this as well. So what that would look like would be you thread through, then you grab your arm like this, they can form a little loop. So what you can do is instead of just doing thread like that, you can start off like this. Thread through, boom, boom, boom. That makes sense? So that's your single hand loops, but it's like a half circle. And more with the hands is you can use your hands to kind of make a circle shape, but it doesn't have to be fully connected. So you can do a gesture that kind of gives the illusion of a circle, like this. So you know that there's something going over your head if you did it like this. Like that. So what you can do with that is you can also go like this, which also, it's not really a loop, but it's more of a box kind of thing. And you can still use that while threading like that. So it's not really a connected loop, but it is still a loop. Next would be, I call false threading. So a false thread is something that looks like a thread, or it looks like a loop or a thread, but it's not. It's just, you do it like this, okay? So it's all about perspective with this. If you do like a right angle, for example, like this, yeah? It looks like you're threading behind or through something like this. Just like that. And you can make that more continuous by just bending your wrist each time you thread. So if you like this here, 1, 2, see? And from there, you can do like this, just by turning it and changing the direction. They give you more motion. With that principle, it is about perspective, because no matter which way you are facing, you're going to have to do it slightly different. And another thing with the double hand loops I didn't show you is you can actually like step through with your foot like that too. And you can cross the hands like this as well and form a loop like that way. Alright? Like when you're tutting, you could like add that with a little tut or something that come over the head. So it forms basically like a box. If you were to do it like this, you have a little box. Okay, so the box can come over this way. So you can come back like this, over the head, and then you come that way over the head too. So back, and then sideways. Back, sideways, right? And then what you can also do is like this. You have a box tut like this as well. So I would call them more like boxes. This is more like a box thread. So I call it a box thread. Something you would do with tutting, where you've got your right angles like this, and you can just put your head through like that. And yeah, you can make the square shapes like this. Then you come over your head with the box. Okay? Boom. Now, even if you don't have the full box, you could still do it just like that, just with half a box like that. Just simple right angle. Still gives the illusion of a thread, but it's like more like a false thread this way. So just like that. Okay, so what else you can do is use objects with it. So for example, I've got here a walking stick. A walking stick just allows you to add an extra line, say an extra line, or any object you could use that help you form a loop to step through. Okay? Or instead of threading with your hands, you can use the walking stick to thread. So if you're like this, then you can just thread through like that, okay? So take advantage of any objects you can really get a hold of, because you can thread with them. They just help a lot. It means you don't have to use your arms to like thread through everything and form the loops with everything. So another thing you can do with the walking stick is grab it with two hands, and then you can step through it like that, or you can jump through it. So you can, if you're good enough, you can try and jump through it, which without the walking stick, it's just like doing this. It's like grabbing the leg here and jumping through with the other leg. So I'm not going to try and do that, but if you're good enough, you can jump through the leg. And yeah, it's just the same thing with the walking stick like that, is you can jump through. Okay. And something else I didn't show you is, you notice I'm wearing a chain as well. Because the chain, even, you could use that to help you thread, because it's already basically a loop like that. But if you wanted to, you could use the chain to thread, or a necklace. If you had a really baggy necklace, you could like thread your arm through a baggy necklace as well. And another thing with the walking stick is, if you're not flexible enough to grab your leg like this and bring your leg over your head like that, which takes quite a lot of flexibility, you can cheat with like a walking stick like this, okay? So what I do is I grab the foot like this, right? And then I bring it over like that. And that's the cheat version of threading around your head, if you're not flexible enough. What you can also do with that kind of thread is, instead of going around the head, you can bring it around like this, okay? So just grab it with your hands and come around like that and connect the new loop here, and as you connected your new loop you can thread again. So I'll show you on this side, come around, and then you can make new points as well. So that's pretty much objects and box threads. So another way of threading would be with your fingers. So if you're doing like finger tutting style, then you'd be able to form loops with your fingers and thread through like that, which is obviously a little bit more complicated because you have 10 fingers, which gives you way more possibilities of like different angles and stuff you can thread through. But the basic of finger threading is like this. So you start off with your pinky or a top finger, any finger, doesn't matter, but you thread through like that. And then you grab the next finger, thread through. Grab that finger and thread through like that. So you don't have to go like this, like that. You just grab the pinky and thread with the next finger. Grab the next finger. So we'll show you like this, okay? And in reverse, go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So that's the basics of finger threading. Is you're just putting one finger through a loop, and because you can like form different loops with your fingers, yeah, you can obviously like do some pretty complicated stuff, which I'm not even going to try and do. But like, say you have a position like this, so you, instead of using your thumb to form a loop, you can use the 2 fingers like that, and then you can try and thread through with your thumb. But obviously this takes a little bit of that control of your fingers and everything. And yeah, that's basically just the basics of threading. So unless you want to get into like yoga positions and everything, if you're doing yoga and everything, you're a little bit more flexible, then you can start doing more complicated positions. But even the ground move like this, for example, you've got your own loop here and you can start to thread like that as well, right? So play around with those positions on the ground, like with your legs. Yeah, I'll just post a video of something up instead so you can see. But if I can find some videos, I'll just put them up on the screen like somewhere for you to have a look, and then you get a better idea of like what to do. Alright, so the last kind of threading that I didn't actually tell you about is 2-person threading. So if you've got another person doing a routine or something as well, then you can use the other person to kind of like help you do threads with, and there's just way more stuff you can do when it's 2 people, because it's easier to connect the lines when you have an extra 2 pairs of legs and arms, you know. So basically I'll recommend getting another person and then seeing what kind of threads you can do with 2 people instead of just 1. But look at B-Boy Rubber Legs and Philip Speeb, or Pac-Man, whatever his name is. They've got heaps of videos of that, so you can go check out their channel. I'm back again, but I turned off the camera and then I waited a few hours I thought of some stuff that I had forgot to put previously in this video. So got my camera again, and I'm just gonna quickly record some extra moves now just to show you a few extra things you can do with threading on the ground. Some stuff that I already forgot to show you. So basically, I've got all this nice open space here in front of me on the ground. And so basically, a few extra things you can do with threading on the ground, okay? So first thing you'll notice is this position here, which if you're good enough, you can thread underneath here, like so, right? So what you can do from here, which you can either stay in a bridge position. I'm not flexible enough to do a bridge position, which you'll see in a minute, like my really bad attempt at it. But basically, position like this. Okay, so we'll say I have my legs crossed for extra support, right? And then as you thread under, you're going to try and flip upright, facing up, okay? So you'll look basically like that. And you'll end up in the bridge position if you're flexible enough, which I'm not. But the idea is, if you can get that pelvis and upper back off the ground while you stay in a bridge position, that's the goal, okay? Which I don't want to destroy my back trying that. So instead, I'll do it the lazy way. If you're like me, you don't want to pull your back out, do it like this instead. So start off just lying down on the ground, okay? And now, look, you've already taken so much risk of injury out of that. See? Now you can thread like this, okay? So now you can just literally come under, thread, like that, okay? So you can kind of roll with it. Okay, and I'll have to show you from the other angle too, of course, because this is the angle you all want. Okay, so thread. Actually, I'll start off like this because I'm going to roll this way, so I'm going to have to go this side. So thread under. Okay, you notice what I'm doing there? Like this. Okay. And from each of these positions, you can kind of thread like this too, right? Okay. So you can go 1, okay, and then even like this as well. You can come over like that. And then what you can do, you can thread like this too. You can thread like this too. So your legs can come up and under. Okay? So you can thread like that. Or, like I said, you can thread underneath the arm.